Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Kelly from Kelly Counts Macros. Today's episode is real life, real timing, and honestly, one of the most important lessons I can teach you when it comes to fat loss, consistency, and actually keeping your results. Before we get into it, I do want to say happy Memorial Day. Today is about remembering, honoring, and being grateful for those who gave everything for our freedom. I hope you're spending time with your family, slowing down a little bit, enjoying the outdoors, eating good food, and recognizing what actually matters. And that's exactly why this episode matters so much because this is about learning how to live your life while still taking care of yourself, not choosing one or the other. Because if your plan only works when life is perfect, it doesn't work because we all know that life is not perfect. So, what's happening in the clubhouse? Quick reminder before we dive in, we are opening up a free week inside of the clubhouse starting June 8th. This is your chance to get inside, see exactly how Kate and I coach, access the recipes, the structure, the accountability, all of it. So if you've been watching and waiting and thinking about joining, this is your moment. If you've been creeping and not really wanting to spend the money, this is perfect for you. So the link is in the show notes. Grab it and also enjoy, think about a friend, think about who you want to bring with you, invite. There is no limit. You can invite as many friends as you want for this free week. Once again, it will be June 8th, and you do need to be registered to join. Okay, so let me walk you through exactly what just happened on our vacation in Turks and Caicos, because this is where I feel most people lose and all of their progress and call it quits, throw their hands up in the air and say the plan isn't going as planned. So I had booked a certain resort in Turks and Caicos with plans on it was not all inclusive. We were going to get groceries from the local grocery store, eat out at really good restaurants. We had a private charter booked, a day with that, and then a day with the jet skiing. And we also had a day where we were going to rent a speedboat with a captain and do wakeboarding and just really enjoy the local part of the island. Well, we got there and it was pouring down rain, which was fine. But at our resort, almost everything we encountered, there was a problem. So I won't go into detail, but it just did not feel like vacation. So we ended up leaving the resort and moving to an all-inclusive where everything was included, meals were prepared for us. Everything was right on site. We did decide to keep one of the private charters, but I really, and Ron could have because he's shredding right along with me, my husband. It went sideways. So the first things first, right? I removed the all or nothing mentality. We had a huge change in plans. Okay. Now think about this. Pause right here. I had a plan. I had pre-tracked. I had pre-tracked every single day, down to the restaurants that we were going to. I had pre-tracked my high noons and my white claws. I had pre-tracked my breakfast, my snacks, my snack for when we got back to the resort, the entire week. Now, what would you have done? How many of you would have spiraled right in that exact moment? Well, the plan is ruined, so I might as well just eat everything, especially because we were going to an all-inclusive, right? You want to get your money's worth and eat and drink everything that you can. And that's the thought pattern that keeps people stuck. That's the moment where progress either continues or completely stops. My pre-tracked drinks changed. My grocery-based breakfast and lunches gone. My restaurant dinners, gone. Everything shifted, but I was not going to let it ruin my progress, and I did not let it ruin my vacation. So I am shredding right now. I'm cutting along with my husband, Ron, if you did not know that. And that right there, that's the goal, not perfection, staying in it. And Ron and I talked a lot about being 1% better, for him especially, 1% better than he would have done on the last vacation. And I want you to hear this because this is what actually works. Okay. More steps. We talked about him stopping at half the serving of fries, eating until enough, not until full, where you feel so bloated and blah and feel like you have to unbutton your pants. Less late night snacking, and we even pushed our breakfast back to 10 o'clock. Now, that might sound small, but that one decision helped naturally control the rest of the day. Lighter lunch, more awareness, less mindless eating. And that's what I mean when I say small decisions matter. And then real life layered on top of it, maybe TMI, I started my period first day there. Cravings, bloating, cramps, all the things that usually throw people completely off track. And this is where the patience we talked about in the last episode comes in. You don't abandon the plan when life gets hard, you adjust the plan. So here's exactly what I focused on. And I want you to listen to this like a checklist because this is how you can do vacations, long weekends, holidays, real life without starting over. I packed smart. I had protein with me, tuna pouches, beef sticks, protein chips, protein bars. Because when you're starving, you don't make aligned decisions. You make fast decisions. And fast decisions usually don't support your goals. I prioritize water. I know it sounds simple, almost too simple, but most people skip it. One of the rules of the shredders is 8 ounces of water before you start the meal, 8 ounces of water halfway through. And when you go to a restaurant, they give you water. It's sitting right in front of you. And when you finish that water, they give you more water. So it's so simple, right? Slow down. Pay attention to enough instead of chasing full because you're at an all inclusive. You know, at the breakfast buffet, I didn't panic. I didn't say, well, it's a buffet, so it doesn't count. I focused on protein first, eggs, salmon, trout, cottage cheese. One of my game changers was I took the hard boiled egg, took the yolk out, and filled it with cottage cheese, and I put in salt and pepper. It was so delicious, so filling. I actually look forward to it every single day. On site, we were in Turks and Caicos. Ended up staying at beaches, and they have, I don't know, 25 restaurants. But my kids ended up loving this one. It's in the new Treasure Island part of beaches, and it was called Pinta. And it was a buffet. So they really enjoyed that for breakfast. So using the one plate rule, because just grab one plate, put it on what you really want, build it around protein. The problem is not the food, the problem is the lack of structure and a plan. I also went to the gym, got my steps in early. Now that my kids are a little bit older, they sleep in. My husband likes to sleep in a little bit. And I could get out there, clear my head, walk along the beach, walk along the boardwalk, go into the gym. Just getting my steps in early was huge. When you move first, it just reduces the stress later. I can't say that enough. Because let's be honest, vacationing, sometimes there is some stress, right? You're with your family, you're with your husband, you have children, you have all sorts of different personalities and ideas about what to do. With our family, it's not an option. We walk everywhere. There were golf carts there, not an option. Elevators, not an option. We take the stairs. We walk to all of our meals. In fact, this place was huge. It was almost like Disney World. There was a huge map. And what we would do is my family is very competitive, if you don't know us. And when we would leave a meal, we would all race back to the room a different way and decide which way was the fastest. So that's a way that we got in extra steps. We made it fun. My son thinks he can beat us at everything. And I doubled my steps. Typically, I'm around 10,000 steps, and I got in 20,000 steps or more. Not because we force it, but because we built it into our lifestyle. I also did the virtual Train with Kate workouts. I did them 3 times. They're 15 minutes. You can do 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 45 minutes. 15 minutes was just enough to get that pump in and made me feel good. And it wasn't every day. I didn't feel like I had to do it every day. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And that's the difference between someone who maintains progress and someone who starts over all the time, thinking that they need to do a 1 hour workout every day. When you think about it, if you can do 3 to 4 15-minute workouts, it's better than one long 45 to 60-minute workout per week, splitting it up. And it keeps you more consistent. We always stay active the entire trip. There's swimming, there's pool volleyball, there's beach volleyball, there's basketball in the pool, there's basketball on the court, there's snorkeling. Um, and honestly, one of the things that I'm most proud of is I can fully keep up with my family. And that matters more than any number on the scale. All right, let's talk about alcohol because that's included in a lot of people's vacations, because this is where people lose control fast. I had a bright line rule, right? Some days I had 0. Some days I had planned 4, 5, or 6, depending on how long the day was. Some days the later breakfast could start with a mimosa. But I decided ahead of time, not in the moment, because decisions made in the moment, they're just driven by emotion and not intention. Dinner stayed super simple, protein first. I'm a huge seafood fan. So fish, shrimp, mahi mahi, crab. The one night we had sushi and it was so delicious. And just really focusing on the protein first, asking for light oil and veggies. I pre-tracked a dinner block, so I already had calories mentally and physically reserved inside of the app. One of the huge things about this app is you don't need to be connected to the internet to track. So I could track while I was on the airplane. I could track even when I didn't have internet. So there's no excuses. Another thing with the My Macros Plus app is if you have the pro version, you can take a picture of your plate, describe the plate, what you have on it, and it will estimate the macros for you. So that is a huge game changer. I love this app. There's no extra add-ons, no extra fees. And if you want the pro version, it's very, very, very cheap. So again, I wasn't perfect with tracking, but I was intentional. And I had the fun foods. At the place that we stayed in, they have different villages. They had a movie theater with popcorn. You could add butter, salt, all sorts of toppings. You could have a large Diet Coke, which is what I love to have a carbonation with the popcorn. And I thought of my sister because they had red wine, right? That salty, sweet combination. Um, I enjoyed the popcorn. I had an ice cream sundae. It had cookie dough ice cream. I got double hot fudge. And yes, I went over my calories that day, but I enjoyed it with my family. I didn't do it every day because if I did that every day, it would not be special, number one. Number two, I would not feel well. They also had a froyo station. It was called Yo-Yo, and you could go in, help yourself, get all the toppings. And I did that 1 or 2 nights as well. And I made a block for that as well. So I need you to hear this clearly. I regretted none of it because I wasn't out of control. I was aware, I was intentional, I was making my own decisions, I was present with my family. I show my son, my daughter, my husband that it's not about restriction. It's not about chaos. It's structure with flexibility. I know there were 2 days I went over my calories. I used my weekend macros more than I planned, but I also made memories. And I showed my kids something that matters more than hitting perfect macros. that you can enjoy life and take care of your body. Because being healthy is just not about your body looking and feeling healthy, but mentally, you have to have um, that mental, all of this is mental. It's the food. And if you're not in a good mental space with food, then in my eyes, you're not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle. So you definitely have to have your mindset healthy. It's not just physical, it's mental too. And that is the goal. Not just losing the weight or the fat or having defined muscles or having the body comp that you want, learning how to live this. And when I came home, I was down 2 pounds. I felt proud, not because I was perfect, not because I was down 2 pounds, because I stayed consistent. I didn't go out of control. And that's the real win. So, as you're heading into today, Memorial Day, cookouts, gatherings, beer, travel, whatever it looks like for you, I want you to remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You need to stay in it. Remove the all or nothing thinking. I use the all or something mentality. Make the next decision align with your goals. Stay consistent. Swallow that magic pill of consistency. Consistency is king. And that's how it works. And if you're ready to actually learn how to do this in your real life so that you have this freedom, not just on a perfect Monday or perfect Tuesday, come join us for the free week inside of the clubhouse starting June 8th. The link is in the show notes. Get in, bring someone with you, experience what this actually looks like with support and structure with Kate and I and accountability. Not only the nutrition piece, but the workout piece. You're not starting over, you're learning how to keep going. And remember, you're always doing better than you think you are.